Hello to those of you listening on demand. Hello to Leonard, who's taking a nap, and I'm waking him up right now. But we'd like to get started just a minute or two early because you know how it works if you've listened to our show before. If you haven't listened to our show before, then welcome aboard. But we like to wait until the sound starts coming through the chat room before we get started. Today is Saturday Fantasy Baseball, and it's one of 7 days a week that you can catch our podcast. We have Fantasy Baseball Tidbits and Nuggets 7 days a week at 9 a.m. Eastern. You can come and join us in the live chat room at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com/live. Sign up. We don't sell your data. We don't send you spam. We don't put you on a list. We don't do anything. It's free to join, and we have a great group of fantasy baseball enthusiasts that come to our chat room every day. So if you're interested, you have questions, you can interact with us, interact with the show, interact with the chat room, get your questions answered, and so we will get started as soon as the sound comes through, and that's what we're waiting for right now. Also, we love to promote the Happy Hour, which is the Happy Hour Social Club on Facebook. You could also find them on Twitch at Happy Hour SC. They do a great show on Wednesday nights. It starts at 7:30 Eastern Time. Great chat room on the Twitch app. Great people. King Hap and Taco is who is the host of that show, and they talk about all the sports, not just baseball. So if you're interested in that, I see the sound is good. And let me just tell my friends in the chat room. Sound is good. Great to see you, Danny Fuller, Captain Danny. And let's see. Good morning to my friends. Today we're talking fantasy baseball. And we're talking just regular baseball. We have a couple people in the chat room that don't even play fantasy baseball, but they just love baseball, and that's why we have them. And we will say hello to our Canadian friend, Chris from Cambridge, Data Premier, Captain Danny Fuller, Eddie and Teresa Heckman. Lenny, as I mentioned, is taking a nap. Rotorius, fellow Mets fans, SM King Turd, Treble Play, Unholy Toledo. I saw your pictures of when you were young. You looked like a rebel then, and you're still a rebel now, and that's what we love about you. Boston Paul is here joining us from the airport over there, watching the people fly in this weekend for this convention that's happening. Okay, so here we go. Let's get started. I said hi to everybody. Good morning to Chris Gallo. I don't know how long the show will be today, but I do, we have a couple trivia questions and we have some updates. And the first update I'll tell you is that the Phillies released Whit Merrifield. Okay. Merrifield, he actually signed a pretty good-sized deal with Philly in February for $8 million, and it included a team option for 2025. Clearly, they're not going to be enforcing that team option. So they let him go because, I can't tell you exactly why, but I could tell you that he hasn't been very good. He's hitting under the Mendoza line, which is 199 is his batting average. He's still stealing bases, though, and Whit Merrifield, mostly known for his stolen base prowess. He's 35 years old, and you can't, once the stolen bases go away, that's what happens. But Whit Merrifield did steal 11 bases this season before he got let go, and he's only played in 53 games. So 11 stolen bases in 53 games, only caught once. Last year, he stole 26 bases in 145 games, and he was caught 10 times. So I have to say, if we're talking about, success rate, Whit Merrifield is actually still successful on the base paths. Now, I think a lot of you that are here in the chat room now are also part of the Roto Imbeciles group on Facebook, and that's our own George Hubschman who runs that. And he put up a post about Whit Merrifield that he put up a post about Whit Merrifield. He said that Whit Merrifield could be a nice addition depending on who picks him up, right? I mean, he also qualifies at second base and outfield. So it looks like he's played 25 games in the outfield, and 14 games at second base. Now, if I'm correct on this, it looks like he's played some time at third base as well. 12 times at third base, which means in most leagues he's qualified for second, third, and outfield. Now, I'm not saying he's great, but I do agree with George that depending on a team that will pick up Whit Merrifield, and if he gets to play every day, he's going to steal some bases, right? So that's what you got. I'm not saying spend a bunch of money. Boston Paul says that Whit Merrifield is not done yet. He can help a team and can play all of positions. Yes, he plays all three outfield positions, second base, and I might be wrong on this. Maybe I posted this, but it does seem to me that I posted this for a reason into my notes. Games by position. Am I wrong to say that he played 14 games at second base, 12 games at third, and 25 in the outfield just this year? I know before he never really played third base, but help me out, Boston Paul. Look it up. Make sure he played 12 games at third already this season, because if he did, that means he's qualified at middle, corner, and outfield, which is a big difference. And like I do agree with George and Boston Paul that he could be a nice addition to a team. I am kind of surprised that the Phillies let him go like that, but there you go. Unholy Toledo, check. Okay, yes, right. So Leonard Donaldson says that he really thought Whit would be a super sub for the Phillies, betting he catches on somewhere. All right, another guy that was let go of, the Tigers. They didn't let him go, but they demoted him, Akil Baddoo, to AAA Toledo. Maybe Toledo Unholy could go see him. AAA Toledo. He was called up on Monday because, Parker Meadows is on the injured list with a hamstring, and Akil Baddoo quickly went 0 for 7 in 3 games that he played in, and he's going to give up his active roster spot to Ryan Vilade, Vilade. Now, this guy is 25 years old. He batted .286 with a .367 on base percentage, 9 home runs, and 13 stolen bases across 270 plate appearances this season. So he should primarily provide outfield depth, but he can also play second base, first base, and third base. In the minors this year, he's played 6 at first, 12 at second, 6 at third, and 43 in the outfield. I definitely think that where they're going to use this guy is the outfield, but keep an eye on him. He does hit for some power and steal a few bases. He's 25. Thank you, Malpal. Yes, so Whit Merrifield has played 12 games at third base, which makes him a little bit more exciting as fantasy. But to be honest with you, I have the guy on a couple teams, and I'm actually kind of... The best thing about Whit Merrifield is that he plays that second base and outfield, and I've been able to use him at both spots, but it's not like he helps your team when he's batting 199, right? I mean, the guy, we'll see how he does. He does still have a few stolen bases left in him, but he's not going to help your batting average, that's for sure. Good morning to you, Malpal. Good morning to Turd. Now, Kevin Kiermaier, this is the one that George posted in the Roto Imbeciles, and I'll be reading about what he thinks about Kevin Kiermaier. He told Hazel May of Sportsnet that he cleared waivers and he was starting in center field and batting 8th yesterday in the series opener against the Diamondbacks. He was placed on revocable waivers on Thursday. He's been batting .183, okay, with a .232 on base percentage and a 32% strikeout rate this season. Kiermaier not having a great season. However, he's going to remain in Toronto for now, since no team claimed him. And the Blue Jays do have the option of keeping him around or releasing him from the roster. Obviously, they're keeping him around since he played yesterday. George says that Kevin Kiermaier may be able to help a contender as a fourth outfield type because he's good defensively. All 29 other teams passed on the opportunity to grab him, which would have meant picking up $4.5 million remaining on his $10.5 million contract for this year. He may still end up with the Blue Jays after all, and yes, he's going to, because they are still responsible for the whole contract that they signed with him. He has a 36 career WAR, which puts him in the company of outfielders like Jesse Barfield, Carl Crawford, Paul O'Neill, Maglio Ordonez, Juan Gonzalez, Lorenzo Cain, Johnny Callison, and Roger Maris. Anyway, Kevin Kiermaier, another guy batting under the Mendoza line at 188. He has 3 home runs and 5 stolen bases. He's defensive only. I don't think he's great for fantasy at all, but he does do his part defensively still, even though he's 34, and you know that's a little over the hill in baseball world. Let's see. SM King Turd calls Akil Badot. That's a pretty good one, King Turd. Now, Aaron Judge. What about Aaron Judge? What about that big old brawl yesterday? We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'd like to hear what you're going to say in the chat room about Turd wrote something in there earlier about, what's that damn manager's name over there in Baltimore? What's his name? Hyde. Brandon Hyde. He said that it was a good moment for Brandon Hyde, and I didn't get to see exactly what Brandon Hyde did, although I did see that it led to a benches clearing brawl. The Orioles are usually the team that's hitting the batters, okay? So the fact that Heston Kjerstad was hit in the head, I don't think it looked like it was on purpose, and it does seem like it got away from him. But the Yankees are really, I didn't see the whole thing, so I can't really make a judgment, but I did see that, I don't know, I did see the brawl, the benches clearing brawl. I want to hear what you guys have to say, okay? So, now let's talk about Aaron Judge. He's got 33 home runs before the All-Star break, okay? Now he has 290 career home runs, which is 11 more than any other player in his first 1,000 career games. And yesterday was only his 929th game, so he should continue to he should continue to expand that lead. He's got 11 more than any other player in their first 1,000 career games already, and he's only at game 929. 306 batting average. He's already got 84 RBIs. That means he's on pace for 160 RBIs? This guy's a monster, dude. Plus, he's already stolen 5 bases, which you just don't think like that of him. Let's see if the Yankees can pull it together. They're definitely going through a very much of a struggling time right now, but so are the Orioles, and they're playing each other, and there should be fireworks at this game. That's absolutely true. There will be more fireworks this weekend in that series, according to Turd. The Cleveland Guardians have 57 wins so far this year, and they've outscored their opponents by a total of 87 runs. Also, the Orioles have 57 wins so far this year and have outscored their opponents by a total of 87 runs. And speaking of run differential, this is where I like to go look at the standings and see how many teams have a run differential above 100? And I'll tell you what, my friends, it's gone down to 2. Only 2 teams in the league have a run differential above 100, and the Yankees are one of them. The Orioles are not. Now, that's reversed from the last time I talked to you, and honestly, the Yankees haven't been winning games, but clearly they're still scoring runs. So the Yankees have a 102 run differential, and the only other team in baseball with a positive 100 run differential, let's see if you know it in the chat room. You have the Yankees with positive 102, and there's another team in baseball with a run differential above 100, and I'd like to hear for some guesses. Let's go. I won't tell you the answer on that for a little while. And it's not your pesky Dodgers, all right? And that just, the only reason I'm telling you that hint is because it makes me feel great. Pesky Dodgers. Oh, pesky Danny got it anyways. It's the Phillies. Why would you say the Red Sox? Let me see what the Red Sox have. I don't get why you would say the Red Sox. Their run differential is plus 38. So at least it's positive, right? The Baltimore Orioles are down to 84, plus 84. Cleveland has plus 85. The Phillies have plus 119. They're leading all of baseball in run differential. So there you go. Those are the only two teams. And the Dodgers have a plus 91 now. So thanks for playing. Happy 46th birthday to Ryan Ludwig. That's our friend Chris from Cambridge who loves to tell us the birthdays of the day. And he also gives us a tidbit about Ryan Ludwig, who suspiciously got good after steroids finally became punishable after 2007. Happy 46th birthday to Ryan Ludwig. There you go. Judge is 32 and only has 290 home runs. If he would have stayed healthy, yes, that's true, he is 32. But isn't it crazy that he's already 32 and he still hasn't made it to 1,000 career games? So that is an interesting tidbit that he is already 32. And it makes you wonder if there even is a chance that he's going to get to 700. It's almost impossible to be this old and get to 700, right? I mean, he still has so let's just say this. He still has 71 games to play to reach 1,100 career games. No, just 1,000 career games. He has 71 games left to play before he reaches 1,000 career games, and he already leads every other player in their first 1,000 games by 11 more than everybody else. Boy, I hope I make sense. I don't sound like I make sense, but maybe you guys understand. All right, let's talk about the Mets. Is Laura here? Laura, say hello. Let's talk about the Mets, Rotorius. Now, by the way, happy birthday to you, my friend. So the Mets now are wild card contenders, okay? Because they have pulled into a tie with the Cardinals for the National League's second wild card spot. Boom! That's right. They're only 3.5 games back of the Braves for the top wild card spot. And their team ranking since May 31st, okay, runs per game first, rotation ERA 7th, bullpen ERA 28th. So if you ever wondered what the Mets' biggest problem is, it's their bullpen, okay? Now, Kenny Rosenthal, he wrote an article, and everybody took it out of context because they don't like Pete Alonso, and they just can't wait to be rude to him. But Ken Rosenthal's article, the title was, "By Getting Pete Alonso in the Home Run Derby, MLB shortchanged two of his Mets teammates." And so, of course, everybody says, oh, Alonso wouldn't play in the home run derby if he wasn't on the MLB, on the All-Star team and blah, blah, blah. So MLB caved and put him on the All-Star team. And then because he was so selfish, he screwed over his teammates. That's the going narrative that's flying around. Well, Kim Rosenthal got on an interview just yesterday, and the guy tried to put it to him just like what I just said, the narrative about how he screwed over his teammates because he's so selfish and refused to be in the home run derby. Look, at least the guy is even in the home run derby. Aaron Judge won't play in it. You know, lots of good hitters won't be in the home run derby, all right? It's bad enough. Not only that, but Kim Rosenthal said, no, I never said that he was being selfish. I mean, he put it to MLB like, why would I want to, why would he want to be in the home run derby if he's not in the All-Star game? That's fine, but also, he didn't, purposely say, oh, well, I don't care if Lindor gets in or Nimmo. Look, Lindor wasn't getting in anyways. How many good shortstops are there? There's so many good shortstops. There's not a chance that Lindor gets in. He hasn't had the best of seasons. And also, Brandon Nimmo, who we're going to talk about as potentially one of the most underrated players in baseball. You can't say that because Pete Alonso got in that Nimmo got screwed. Nimmo wasn't getting in. He's not a fan favorite. He's underrated, right? Pete Alonso, the polar bear, the biggest power hitter in baseball, the most consistent first base power hitter in baseball. Nobody can argue with me. Well, you could argue with me, but you'd be wrong, right? That's a quote I learned from Malpal. You can argue with me, but you'd be wrong. Right, Malpal? Okay, anyway, here's the deal. Ken Rosenthal did stick up for Alonso when the guy tried to say that narrative, and he said, look, either way, think of Pete Alonso what you will. He's going to participate in the home run derby. I hope he wins. I really hope he wins. But look at the depth chart of the first baseman in the National League. I mean, it's not like there's a slew of great first basemen in the National League. So the fact that Pete Alonso also is the Mets' only representative, I mean, every team gets at least one. Some teams get more than one, right? Or does every team just get one? Either way, somebody's going to get the short end of the stick when the All-Star game comes to play. But isn't it supposed to be for the fans? And who's their favorite player to watch? Lindor's a great choice. Don't get me wrong, but look at how many good shortstops there are in the National League. Look at how many there are. Lindor isn't the best shortstop in the National League. Right? All right. Polar bear, not as good as the panda. Laura, where are you going? What you doing, Laura? Let me see. Going to the game. Okay, good morning. Might be going to the game today. Let's go Mets. The bullpen needs a lot of help. Many injuries. You guys have a great time at the game, but it might rain, Laura, so pay attention. It might rain today. All right, congratulations to Paul Skeens, whether we like it or not. I don't know who wouldn't like it, right? He's going to start the All-Star game as the National League starter. One day after he throws 7 no-hit innings, he became the National League All-Star starting pitcher. And now Tigers ace Tarik Skubal makes the case to be the American League All-Star starting pitcher. Skubal gave up 2 hits and 2 runs while striking out 8 in 6 innings against the Dodgers. 27 years old, Tarik Skubal, 10-3 with the 2.41 ERA, 140 strikeouts already, and a .88 whip. He hasn't allowed more than 4 earned runs in any of his last 31 starts. Tarik Skubal. Yes, okay, Laura, we love you, lady, okay? Now, Nimmo has 2 good years back-to-back going. We're going to talk about some Nimmo today because I do think that he is an underrated player, no doubt about it. As far, at least in fantasy, he's very underrated. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he's underrated next year again because I have a feeling this year has solidified Nimmo as a fantasy asset. Now, you've been able to get Nimmo so late in drafts up till now. I doubt it's going to be that way next year. Danny Fuller says that Tarik Skubal will be a pesky Dodger before it's over. And I wouldn't be surprised because, holy moly, how many injuries can you guys suffer with the Dodgers pitching staff? Speaking of pitching staff, it's Garrett Cole who earned the win over the Orioles, allowing 1 run, 5 hits, and a walk over 6 innings. He struck out 7. Now, Cole did allow a lone run on Ramon Urias' 2-out triple in the 2nd inning, but then he blanked the Orioles over his final 4 frames, allowing just 2 additional hits, and he completed 6 innings for the first time this season. After allowing 8 runs over his first 2 outings, he's allowed just 6 runs over his last 3 starts, striking out 21 batters in 15 and a third innings. So his next outing for Garrett Cole will be at home against the Rays following the All-Star break, and he'll look to open the second half on a positive note, and it's got to be better than what it is so far, because on the season he's 2-1 with a 5.40 ERA and a 1.46 WHIP. All right. Boston Paul says Skubal will go to the Yankees. Apparently we're trading Skubal off, aren't we? Is the Tigers going to trade him? Is that what we have, a consensus at least on that? I don't know. SM King Turd says that it's very exciting that Skubal is potentially getting traded. Yes, it is pretty exciting, but not exciting for the Tigers, right? Now, the 2024 Mets, okay? We're back to the Mets. 48-45 through 93 games in 2015. Remember that? 2015, they were 48-45 through 93 games as well. That year, the Mets season was the 54th season in franchise history, and they finished the regular season with a record of 90-72. They won the National League East on September 26th, which was their first division title since 2006 and 6th overall. And I believe they went to the World Series that year too. I'm pretty sure we listened to it in the car on one of our road trips. So anyway, my point is they made it far in 2015, and at the All-Star break, they were 48-45, which is exactly what they are right now through 93 games. Unholy Toledo says Skubal is not going anywhere, and Malpel says, why would they trade him? I agree. I wonder why they would trade him. Give me a good reason. I'll leave it up to you. Good morning to Merrill Hartson. I see you typing, so welcome aboard. Here we go with our Brandon Nimmo talk, okay? I want you guys to tell me who you think is the most underappreciated player in Major League Baseball, and I would say that it's Brandon Nimmo, and that's my guess, so that's why I went out to gather up some evidence to tell you why Nimmo is the most underappreciated hitter in baseball. His batting average is .251, which would used to be not very good, but right now it's above average. 16 homers, 62 RBIs, 59 runs scored, and 8 stolen bases. And I thought, wow, he's on pace for 120 RBIs. He must not be batting leadoff. Well, he isn't batting leadoff, but he's still batting second. He's been batting second every day for quite a while, about the second week in June. He's been batting second every single day. He did start the season batting leadoff, but batting second usually doesn't bring all those RBIs. He's really cranking up the RBIs from where he's batting. He has more RBIs than he does runs scored, which is very rare for a guy that's batting at the top of the lineup. Anyway, Brandon Nimmo is batting .251, but I think it's going to end the season higher than that. He's not hitting well at home at all, right? This year at home, he's batting .214, and away, he's batting .295. I don't think that's going to stay the same. I think that his .251 batting average is not what it will be, okay? I think it's going to be better than that. He hits both lefties and righties good. He gets on base like a madman. Since June 1st, 147 plate appearances and 33 games. He's batting .308 with a .388 on-base percentage, okay? 9 home runs, 4 stolen bases, 53.7% hard hit rate, 36.8% ground ball rate. He never swings at stuff outside the zone, swings all the time at good pitches. He was actually performing well under the hood before this, but the results were just not there yet, and now it's all clicking for Brandon Nimmo, and that's my pitch on why he is the most underrated guy in baseball. Let's see. Guest Boston Paul says, okay, hold on a minute. Leonard Donaldson says Kyle Tucker's underrated. Rotorius says he hates too much hustle. I don't get it. Devers is the most underappreciated player in baseball, according to Boston Paul. And Leonard Donaldson agrees with him. He said that's a good one. Rotorius says Devers is a monster. Devers is even better than Ramirez. I mean, now you're pushing it, Boston Paul, okay? Now you're just going a little crazy here. Jose Ramirez, look at what Jose Ramirez is doing for his team right now. All right. I don't think Devers is better than Jose Ramirez, all right? So, but Malpal brings up the fact that Rafael Devers was going at the end of the first round, early second round, so he is appreciated, and that's true. I guess the question is, who's the most underappreciated? I do see reason in Devers for sure. I also agree with Malpal that he isn't really underappreciated when he's going in the second round. And you talk about underappreciated. Nimmo has to be the guy, right? I mean, there's some other guys. There's definitely some other guys that are underappreciated. I wish I could come up with them as we speak, but no, let's just keep going. He beats Ramirez in every category except stolen bases. Okay, so basically Devers has no stolen bases, so he doesn't provide. Maybe Devers has a better batting average. What? They're both probably batting 300. What? Devers is batting 301. Ramirez is batting 290. I just think that Ramirez contributes in every category. And, yeah, Devers might be a little ahead of him, but you can't argue with Jose Ramirez stats. Turner, underappreciated. Another guy that goes very high in drafts. Eddie, why are you quiet this morning? What's your problem? Are you upset about what happened to your team? We're going to talk about that. I want your input, please. Eddie Heckman, are you upset about Heston? I hope he's okay. Data Premier brings up Isaac Paredes is underappreciated. That's a good one. That is definitely a good one. So we talked about Brandon Nimmo. Jose Iglesias is another one, OMG guy, right? This guy is just really grabbing onto that OMG thing. I think he changed his social media profile picture to OMG. He's 34 years old, but he is adding a lot of charisma to this Mets roster right now. And you look at his stats, he's 34 years old. He's batting .347, which is excellent, but he's not gonna provide you a ton of fantasy relevance. He has 3 home runs and 1 stolen base, and the thing is, he hasn't been drafted in any league, so he's probably available in every league that you have him, but he doesn't play every day. He bats at the very bottom of the order. He does play multiple positions, including second base, third base, and shortstop when he does play. Now, you'll have to look at your own league settings to see if he qualifies at all those positions. I guarantee in some leagues he won't qualify in all 3. But he started at second base and batted 7th against the Rockies yesterday. He did sit out on Thursday because he had an illness, but he was back in action yesterday in the series opener versus Colorado. He has been hot of late, batting .286 with an .820 OPS in his past 10 games. But, this is all relative. He doesn't have a starting job. He can play multiple positions, but he doesn't play every day at any position. Eddie's been partying since 2 in the morning. Is that your problem, Eddie? Eddie Heckman, we can't get a word in otherwise. Boston Paul is talking nonsense. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad. So you showed me that Jose Ramirez is batting .272 and Devers .289. Jose Ramirez has 23 homers. Rafael Devers has 21. Jose Ramirez has 18 stolen bases. Rafael Devers has 2. If you look at these two comparisons, they really show the point that I've been trying to make, that Jose Ramirez is better than Devers. That's all there is to it. He's a better fantasy guy than Devers. Eddie Heckman, you're worried about Heston. We will send our prayers out for you, okay? It did look nasty. It looked horrible. And, well, you say he's been such a boost for the O's, but he's constantly being benched. I don't get why they're not letting him play every day. He's way too good to be sitting on the bench. Now, we will definitely pray for your Orioles. And Post 1958, great to see you too. You say that Willie Castro was very underappreciated, mostly went undrafted, eligible everywhere, and plays every day. That's why we have this wonderful chat room of fantasy baseball insiders. We love it. Anyway, so Kierstead is a stud. He should be playing every day. It looked horrible what happened to him, but we are all going to be wishing you the best, and he'll get up. He'll get past it. Now, the Mets hit a season-high 5 home runs from the bottom of the lineup and held on late to win their 4th game in a row. Will Kobe Mayo get called up? That's a good question. The Arizona Diamondbacks, for the first time since April 5th, are finally over 500. They are now 48-47. They're also just 1 game back of the Mets and the Cardinals for the 2nd and 3rd spots in the National League wildcard race. Speaking of the Orioles, Gunnar Henderson went 1 for 5 with a stolen base and a run scored in yesterday's 3-2 win over the A's. Wait a minute, that can't be right. This is not a new tidbit. They didn't play the Athletics yesterday, okay? So we're talking about Thursday. Has to be. Gunnar Henderson is very much known for his power, okay? But he did flash some speed on Thursday. He stole third base and scored on an error following his leadoff single in the first inning. Entering yesterday, he was 16 for 46 with a .348 batting average over his last 11 games, lifting his season/slash line to .288 with a .379 on-base percentage through 87 games. He has 27 homers, 14 steals, 60 RBIs, 76 runs scored, 18 doubles, and 4 triples. Let's see here. What are we doing? All hail Fred McGriff, who led the American League in home runs in 1989 with 36. Unholy Toledo says, pretty sure Bill Melton led the AL one year with 32. Just guessing, he says. I didn't say you have to fall in line. You said that Devers was better in every category except for stolen bases, and then you posted up something that did not show that. You don't have to fall in line here. I like debate. I love to discuss things. I really like to disagree with you people because it makes for a great, knowledgeable insight. All right, now Keston Kierstad was hit and removed, and he was hit in the head by a pitch. He managed to turn away so that the pitch hit off the back of his helmet, but you know that dang helmet flew off, and he was definitely shaken up enough, and so he was removed from the game. It wasn't until the 9th inning, and the training staff will absolutely be keeping an eye on him, presumably put him through concussion protocol. It's kind of hard to believe if he doesn't go through concussion protocol, because if that doesn't cause a concussion, I don't know what will. OBP slugging more diverse, kicks butt on Ramirez. Oh, give me a break, dude. We're talking about fantasy baseball. Do I have to start cursing at you, Boston Paul? Just kidding. Good morning to Mitchell. Good morning to King Hap. Good morning to everybody. Welcome aboard to my friends. Now, let's talk about the number of Orioles plunked by the Yankees. Now, the thing is, I've noticed the Orioles pitchers hitting a lot of good hitters this year. Not saying it's on purpose. It could happen on accident, no doubt about it. But it does seem like every time a good hitter gets hurt, it's coming from an Orioles pitcher. However, you want to talk about this. This is from Dan Clark Sports on X. He says, the Orioles that have been plunked by the Yankees this year. Gunnar Henderson on April 19th. Heston Kjerstad on May 1st. Mateo, May 2nd. Santander, May 2nd. Colton Cowser, May 2nd. Colton Cowser, June 19th. Gunnar Henderson, June 19th. Austin Hayes, June 20th. Jordan Westberg, June 20th. Heston Kjerstad, July 12th. But you turn that around, and the Yankees that were plunked by the Orioles was Anthony Rizzo on May 2nd, Judge on June 18th, and Gleyber Torres on June 18th. So, if you look at the Yankees versus the Orioles and who's plunked who the most, the Yankees are just crazy plunking the Orioles this year. They plunked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They plunked 10 batters already this year, and this is only their third series against them this year. All right? Post 1958 says that he mostly listens to the replays. He doesn't remember hearing if we talked about the wind tunnel from Cleveland Stadium configuration this season. Jose Ramirez and Josh Naylor are the biggest beneficiaries. Ramirez 23 home runs now versus 24 last year, and Naylor 22 now versus 17 last year. So no, I don't think we have talked about the wind tunnel in Cleveland. That's an interesting point. Thank you for bringing it up. Eddie Heckman is going to see Samantha today to give her some birthday presents, also having a cookout. Okay, say hello to the wonderful family, please. And Turd brings up Corey Seager. He is not going to let this one go. He expects that his teammates will get revenge the next time they play the Orioles. All right, we will see Samantha in September. That's true. Boston Paul is really thanking you a lot, Post, for your tidbit. So we love it. Julio Rodriguez. He has put 164 balls in play at an exit velocity over 100 miles an hour on fastballs since last season. Now we look at Julio Rodriguez's stats on the season. Now, I've heard people saying that he's been a big disappointment. Yes, he's had somewhat of a slow start, but I'm going to put my money down now, okay? I'm going to tell you that the second half is going to be fire for Julio Rodriguez. He didn't start the season good, but you hold on to your hats, my friends. He already reached base 4 times on Thursday. He went 3 for 3 with a double and a walk, okay, on Thursday. The Mariners' offense has woken up this past week, and Rodriguez has been a big part of that resurgence. He went 4 for 4 against the Padres on Tuesday. He rebounded from an 0 for 4 night on Wednesday to once again reach safely during every play appearance, okay? He is hitting .526 with 3 doubles and 2 home runs over his last 7 games. That span in which he elevated 30.8% line drive and 46.2% hard contact rate. All right, now his batting average on balls in play is higher than I've ever seen anybody's batting average on balls in play in my life. But that doesn't mean anything. He is on fire, and I bet I will put some money down on it if anybody wants to bet me. Julio Rodriguez will have all the stats we expected, cumulative by the end of the season. So far, he only has 10 homers and 18 stolen bases, but his RBIs and his runs scored have been suffering big time with 34 and 44, respectively. Okay. Harrison Bader, 750 OPS and more homers before the break than all of last season. He had 7 home runs last season. He already has 8 home runs this season, and it's not even the All-Star break. But here's the thing. You look at the number of games that he played in all last season. He only played in 98 games, and he's already up to 82 games this year. So he's really pretty much the same hitter always. But the fact is, he's getting play every day for the Mets. He's batting .278 with 13 stolen bases. So Harrison Bader is contributing to fantasy managers everywhere. Right, Laura? Harrison Bader, getting it done. Now, Sean Manaea, another Met. Okay, 3.47 ERA, but his walk rate continues to climb now for the 4th straight season. Right now is a career worst 10% walk rate. His ground ball rate is only 36%. Sean Manaea, no thank you, okay? His FIP is 3.75, which is, I was surprised to see that it wasn't actually higher than that. Okay, I'm surprised his FIP is not higher than 3.75 when his ERA is 3.46. But another Met, since we're having a Met Saturday today, Luis Severino, who has a 3.78 ERA. This guy is doing good, and I'll tell you why he's doing good. He's doing good because he throws 48% ground balls, which keeps the ball in the park, definitely. He's only striking out 17.8% of batters. So if you're looking at the formula, he doesn't really fit in as a huge breakout, but he doesn't need to be a breakout. We already know what Severino is capable of. His ERA is 3.78. I already told you. His fastball is sitting at 95.8 miles per hour, which is a little bit lower, but he is getting older. And his FIP is 4.34. So there's a chance that Severino could regress in the second half, but I'm just telling you, the fact that he's even healthy is great, and he has eclipsed his highest inning total since 2018, so watch out for that. He's already at 109 innings. The last time he pitched more than 109 innings in a season was back in 2018 when he pitched 191. So regardless of the fact that he's already eclipsed his innings max, I just feel like they're not going to put an innings limit on him. He's already proven that he can throw a couple hundred innings per season. He hasn't done it in a while, but that doesn't mean that he's like one of these youngsters that's never accomplished that feat. Or if he's like Tyler Glasnow, who also has never accomplished that feat, and he's Tyler, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I wish the Mets would sign Trevor Bauer. It'd be just great fun for me. Now, a couple more tidbits before I let you go. Taj Bradley has allowed only 5 earned runs over his last 42 innings pitched. He has a 1.07 ERA since June 8th. Okay, that's MLB's best ERA among pitchers who have thrown at least 25 innings since then. However, watch out. You should sell high on this kid. I think, unless it's a keeper league, you might want to keep him, okay? But now, his FIP is almost a 1 whole run higher than his ERA, so he is getting a little bit lucky. He doesn't get enough ground balls, which is not good. Now, I don't have the number of home runs that he gives up, but the fact that he only gets ground balls 38% of the time tells me that he's giving up a lot of fly balls and he's allowing the ball to be put in the air, which means that he is at risk of allowing too many home runs, although I can't see that, okay? I don't have those numbers in front of me. But Taj Bradley, 23 years old, seems to be getting a little above his pay grade right now. So if you're interested in getting rid of a pitcher for a hitter, whatever you need to do, you might want to think about selling Taj Bradley. Do not sell him in keeper leagues, all right? So that's that. Now, Willie Calhoun hit 2 home runs last night for the Angels. He went 2 for 5 with a pair of 2-run homers. He made the most of his first start since July 7th, notched his 3rd career 2-homer game, with the other 2 coming way back in 2019, 5 years ago. He's the designated hitter for the Angels, and he collected his first home run with a 2-run shot off of Brian Wu in the first inning, all right? He then walked off the Mariners with a 409-foot 2-run homer in the 10th inning. Perhaps this performance will garner the 29-year-old some additional starts. He's now batting .273 with a .344 on base percentage across 192 plate appearances this season. So I don't know how many more starts he can get. It seems to me that 192 plate appearances is right about every day. Cal Raleigh, 15-game span, 66 plate appearances, .286 batting average, .394 on base, and 7 home runs. Here's a trivia for the chat room. 3 catchers in MLB history have 20 or more home runs and 5 or more stolen bases in a team's first 96 games of a season. Cal Raleigh is one of them. Who are the other 2 catchers with 20 or more home runs plus 5 or more stolen bases in a team's first 96 games of a season? All right, Rhys Hines over the first 5 games of his career, a .474 average, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 4 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases. Not Biggio. Good guess, though. Keep on guessing. You're right, I haven't mentioned Bauer. I haven't mentioned Bauer all podcast, but that's it. That's the only time I'm going to mention it. There's no news on Bauer. Okay, Mauer, no, he did not. Jason Kendall, no. Good guesses. Keep on going. Rhys Hines' 7 extra base hits are tied for the most by a player in his first 5 career games since 1901, tied with Rowdy Tellez and Jorge Soler. Pudge, yes. Pudge is 1. Absolutely Pudge. Unholy says Real Muto. It's not Real Muto. It was 1985. It was a catcher in 1985 with 20 or more home runs and 5 or more stolen base in his team's first 96 games. It's not Real Muto. It was 1985. Pudge is 1. Cal Raleigh is 1. And there's 1 left. Now, we're going to talk a lot about Hines. Hines continued his incredible start yesterday, launching a grand slam in the 3rd inning to extend Cincinnati's lead to 7-0. No, it was not Piazza. It was not Witt. The 23-year-old Rhys Hines is now 9 for 19 to start his big league career with 3 homers, 8 RBIs, 4 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases. All right? It's not sustainable. But he's doing good, and he's earned a regular role because, of course, T.J. Friedl is always hurt, Stuart Fairchild is hurt, and Nick Martini all injured. Rhys Hines will continue to get playing time. It's not Gary Carter. All right? It's not Ted Simmons. It's not Santiago. This is a great fun for me. Okay? 1985 catcher. Let's go. Rick Wilkins, no. B.J. Surhoff, no. In the last 20 games, the Houston Astros have won 16, the Boston Red Sox have won 14, and Washington Nationals have only won 6 of their last 20, and the New York Yankees have only won 5 of their last 20. Darryl Porter, no. Molina, no. The last time an All-Star game was in Arlington, Texas, a rookie by the name of Hideo Nomo of the Dodgers was the American League starting pitcher. How could he be the American League starting pitcher for the Dodgers? It makes no sense. This year, with the All-Star game back in Arlington, Paul Skeens of the Pirates will be the first rookie starting pitcher since Hideo Nomo. So Hideo Nomo did not start the AL, he started the NL. He was a rookie, and it was the last time that the game was played in Arlington, and it's the first time since then that the game is back in Arlington and a rookie will be starting the National League. Isn't that interesting? And it is Carlton Fisk. It's Carlton Fisk, and it's a great guess, and I love you guys for participating in everything, okay? And that's what we have for today, and I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday. It's going to be a little raining here today, and just thanks for joining us. We will see you tomorrow for Lady and the Legend at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Don't be late.